Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of our special miniseries for Wanderhome. Last time we got to see Falley's Bridge. Tonight we get to see a special place called Kelleran's Point. We find our group arriving at the desolate township of Kelleran's Point. The lighthouse that was the jewel of the area has recently become extinguished. Once known for its beautiful winding staircase, it has now become the stuff of warning. There are stories of a solitary glow working its way up and down the forgotten tower. It was once passed along in stories that the lighthouse has always stood at the edge of the world. A great doorway to the great sea beyond, kind of like a sapphire gateway. But strife and progress have led to the drying out of the once roiling coastline. The sand stretches out much further now, and that sapphire stepping stone to the world out there can only be seen from the top of the tower, for those brave enough to make the climb. We find our group coming into Kelleran's Point almost towards the end of day. And before we jump into it with you lovely folks, let's go over the quick start, little end of the quick start thing for the game. So I want to ask each of you for a word to describe what sort of place we traveled from. It could be Falley's Bridge, it could be somewhere else, especially since we're now being joined by Dodger. So his place might be different than yours. Let's start in order. Junie, where did we come from? What sort of place did we travel from? In a word.
In a word. It's a meadow.
Meadow. Donald, what's one word?
Welcoming.
Welcoming.
Candle Feast has just passed. It was a nice journey through there into this, snowy time.
Okay. And Tara, what's one word from where we just came from?
Gloomy.
And Kenny, what's one word for where we just came from?
Dancing. First thing that comes to my mind.
Okay. Do we feel that our journey has been long? And this could be different for everybody. And we'll go in reverse. Kenny, do we feel that our journey has been long?
Honestly, if it has been Thistledown wouldn't know. Usually on these walks is when I'll be writing into my journal. There is especially from what we came, especially from the bridge. That is, I'm just in it. To me, it feels like it's only been a minute.
Okay.
However long it's been, it feels like it's not giving me enough time to write.
Okay. And Tara, do you feel that our journey has been long?
It has been long. He's been looking forward to getting to Kelleran's Point. As a means, it'll be a means of him downtime for him, as it is a place where other peddlers meet up.
Yeah. Donald, do you feel that our journey has been long?
Yeah. Where I come from, silt doesn't really happen. We go straight from the summer times, that drag on and on right into winter. What winter there is. And just all this time of seeing the leaves change and the crops of summer, slowly wither away and get picked up, just seems to drag on since it's so full of new things to see.
Okay. Junie, do you feel that our journey has been long?
Journey is as a journey would be, and no, from town to town, point to point. It's never long.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little something different with this last question. Aside from just bouncing around from each of you, since we've gone in order twice. In a word, and it could be yes or no. Is there somewhere you hope to go? And Tara, is there somewhere you hope to go?
Yes. Yes.
Donald, is there somewhere you hope to go?
No.
Kenny, is there somewhere you hope to go?
Always.
And Junie, is there somewhere that you hope to go?
No, it's I go everywhere.
Okay. And then for yourselves to think about, this is not requiring an answer, but just take a moment to wonder for yourselves, where is home to each of you? Since we rarely have to think about it for ourselves. There is an unusual silence to the township. The white light of the shortened days bouncing off the thigh-high snow gives the world an almost grave sense. There is a fire tender in the town square. They are stoking the flames of the bonfire at the heart of Kelleran's Point. This is Valo. He's a lynx. He's a firelight, just like Celine. Thistledown, what can you tell us about Valo?
Well, Valo is very lean. If Valo has worn anything other than the brown tunic and matching shorts, then I've never seen it. However, he does, even with the clothes that he wears, it's always clean. Reason why I keep details, there's a lot of details in the face, as far as you can see the age come in with the gray go into the white around the eyes. You can see the tips of his ears are also graying out and white. As the rest of his fur, as it's almost ombre, as it goes down to gray along his body. And you can see pinpoint flecks of black and gray that would weave into his coat that have since become duller in color, even with the brightness coming from the firelight.
Okay. There's smoke rising from the chimneys here as winter has set its talons into the landscape. There's one plume that is a little thicker than the others. This is the township's glorious tavern and inn. Celine, what can you tell us about Miss Maud and how she runs the place? What's it called?
Beaks Inn.
Beaks
That's what
Inn?
it's called. Beaks Inn.
Beaks Inn.
Beaks Inn. She may not be the most creative, but at least she turns around and comes with the... She's the kind of aunt you always want. The one that's got the good stories, the one that's got the good hug. She has those little trinkets and presents. But also, when you need to sit down and talk, when you need somebody, she always puts down the spoon. She gives you a nice hot cup of something, sits you down, and lets you just talk.
She's also an owl, yes? Same kind as you, or different?
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Nice. Off of the square, well within view of any of the gatherings, is a small shrine to one of the forgotten gods. Children are currently playing, throwing snow at each other, and making snow people of their parents or other family members. A large or thick gull of a kith has a handful of children listening to a story. This is Captain Bert. Sal, what can you tell us about Captain Bert?
He is a salty old dog. He's always got a different tale to tell, and even though he's horrible at it, he just can't help but try to share all the fantastic places that he's been with anybody that he can see. But with that same kind of boastful air, he's got a rare quality that he wants to hear people's stories just as much as he wants to share the ones that he's heard. And so he'll let, for as much as he'll hold court for the kids, if one of them starts to talk about a land, even if it's something that they just made up, he will be in rapt pleasure, hanging on every word of what fantastical places they're telling him about.
I like him already.
And he doesn't even seem to notice that, or maybe he's just okay with it. That every time he's around, it's different kids.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are gone and different because it takes him some years between each visit to Kelleran's Point.
There is a shop that has a steady line of people that seems to move slowly. The kith that are going in are a little less bundled than the ones that are emerging. The extra layers are accented with fur and moth gossamer. The tailor is always prepared for the influx of customers this time of year, since it almost feels like it's getting colder every year. Coming out of the shop sporting a patched coat is a golden retriever blowing hot air into his hands as a cold wind bites down on the township. This is Barnabas. Dodger, what can you tell us about Barnabas?
Barnabas, maybe owing to his nature as a golden retriever, is loyal to the town and to the point, the lighthouse, where he worked. Despite having been able to leave, he's remained. That just might be loyalty. It might be, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, he is dressed in a pea coat, like you mentioned, tattered with some patches. Got a warm winter sailor's cap on, and he's a little gruff. He watches out for the town. You see him marking people.
Okay. Just go over logistics of the system itself. You all have one token. The system is a diceless system, but you can use your tokens and you can gain tokens by doing specific things and mostly putting yourself out there and stepping outside of your comfort zone. But as your caravan is coming in, it's still a little bit of daytime. You can feel it kind of edging ever closer to sundown. And there is a procession of different kith that come over to Valo, and they'll start lighting torches and start going around and lighting the lamps of Kelleran's Point. What is everybody going to do as everything kind of comes to a stop here? You've arrived.
Oh, I'm gonna I'll immediately go ahead and walk up to Valo.
Yep.
I haven't seen him in quite a while. And it feels as though it's been longer than it has.
Yeah.
It could be the weather. It could be the actual season itself that feels like it's been forever. So
He smiles when you come over. He sees you as he's passing a torch to a different kith. And he asks somebody to take over for him as he comes over. Is Valo a hugging man?
If he's not, I am.
Okay.
That's the way I put it. So,
Okay. So he comes over, hand outstretched.
yeah, I mean, it's been too long, and I will grasp tight to the point that it feels almost like he has some of my feathers in his face. Is
Yep.
the idea?
And he brings his head up so he doesn't suffocate on down. It is good to see you. You are getting stronger. Thistle down.
No, I just think you're leaning out a little bit more than last time. And I just wanted to point out, real quick, storyteller,
Yeah.
the actual firelight, because actually no, I'll just say it in the game. Valo, I take it you're not going up to the top of the lighthouse today? Tonight?
He looks at you and then he looks down at the ground, and you'll notice that unlike Celine, he doesn't have his glow bug, his little lightning bug, and he looks back up at you. Unfortunately, Sunflower has left this mortal coil, and the gods have not seen it fit to bestow upon me a new messenger. So the tower has been silent for some time.
And it heavies my heart is heavy for what you're dealing with. I mean, I am so sorry for this loss. When did this happen?
Maybe a little bit more than a month ago. It was, and he kind of leans in and quiets down a bit. It was seen as a bad omen. Many things have happened since, and he'll point out to the coastline. And those of you that are paying attention to the conversation will see that he's pointing out to the coastline, and there is a ship that has kind of moored itself and tipped over to the side. This is unfortunately Captain Bert's ship. Sal, what's the name of his ship?
I don't even know. I'd have to ask. Valo, what's the name of that ship?
Oh, that is Captain Bert's ship. Has he never told you its name?
No, I mean, he'll mention that he's a captain, but we never even seen his ship come to port. Usually he just flies in. I better go check with him because this is strange.
But Valo kind of goes back over to the bonfire, and he continues to tend it as everybody now has a torch in hand that is lighting the city for the evening. This has become my new firelight. This is what I make sure that the town is warm. Even without the gods and their gifts that we can do for ourselves.
Yeah, it amazes me the amount of strength that you have and resolve and resilience that you are showing, considering something like this so great. And I actually take out and I rip off a sheet, like an actual page out of the journal that I have, and checking. I go ahead and I touch my beak, realize it's still wet, so I just start. I scribble down, and I say, "This. I know it's not Day of Remembrance. However, this is something for you that I want to give you, and what you and Sunflower have meant for me." And it's on the it's just a quick poem. On it just says, "Spark once bright, so blue, so true. Firelight soul in golden hue." And However, embers have faded. The flame burns low. However, not lost, not gone, just carried a gentle glow into the stars.
Yeah, he claps you on the shoulder. You have always been a better poet than I have. And you'll see a little owl girl coming towards him with a steaming mug of something. Celine, who is this? Why is she coming out of Miss Maud's?
It's Molly, her granddaughter.
Mm.
And because every time anyone feels blue, Maud immediately sends Molly out with a cup of something to make them feel better. Because Molly is an endless bottle of joy and optimism that one knows that it's not just a glass half full. The glass is all full because it's all air and water, just mixed up into different molecules.
Just to clarify, you said all full, not awful.
Awful.
All full.
Yeah.
Sorry, is my accent coming through?
No. It was just
Okay.
like, maybe let me just be clear for everybody that might have misheard that.
That's
what it really is,
fair.
it was owl full.
Owl full.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
There you go. I like that idea.
But yeah, Thistledown will see Molly come over, and she's about to give the cup to Valo, and she sees you, and then she just kind of turns and just smiles and hands it over to you instead. I'll go get you another one, Valo. Grandma says you need it. He pats her on the head. She is right. As always, thank you, Molly. And she scampers back into the tavern.
As Molly scampers back, I'm still gonna hand it over to Valo, and I just say, I'd rather you have it first. I can still wait.
Yeah, he shakes his head. He's like, no, you have arrived. You partake. Partake. Come. And you see him kind of swishing some snow around until he finds a bench, and he clears it off and he pats it down, and he just grabs a torch so that he keeps some of the flame next to you two, and he's like, sit, tell me of your travels. And let's switch over to Sal as he comes over to Captain Bert.
Captain.
And the little kid scamper, once he's done, like he sees you, and he's like, and the tail of the dragon will have to wait for another day. And everybody's like, oh, and they start running away and doing kid things before they're called to dinner.
You never really saw a dragon, did you?
Oh, maybe. Who's to say?
That ship out there, that can't be the Haddock, can it?
Oh,
That was so long ago.
it is. Unfortunately, I mistook the sea for what it was and what it wasn't. And now, she sits there as a reminder of better days.
Stuck?
I stuck good.
And the crew?
Out and about. I gave them some time, some leave, until we can figure out what to do with the ship. It's too cold to do anything now. So
Well,
I
at least
sit
you
and I
got this
tell
close.
stories. Are you still up and about with that bird? That rook of a
Yeah.
poet?
It's a nice change from my previous companions.
He leans in. Has he gotten better?
Travels. He's more. There's more poetry.
Has he found the rhyme for orange finally?
He's got plenty, and none of them appealing.
You can hear me squawk in the back in the distance because I hear the word orange coming from Captain Bert.
He does better with purple, though.
Oh, there's some good slant rhymes for purple, yeah.
Oh well, no. He's not that sort. But if you're having some pancakes, you can have them with serpel.
He squints at you, almost like that doubtful fry meme. What in the old gods is slurple?
We'd have to ask him. But I think it's the same way that your stories go. Sometimes you just need the quantity, and the details can work themselves out later.
You see him kind of grab his big ol' skin flap and just kind of stroke it like a beard. Pancakes sound good right about now, though.
Well, let's get beaks in.
Two mods. It's good to see you.
Boy, it's cold out here.
Enter Barnabas sees you and immediately rushes over. Is he a hugger?
He is.
Okay. Dodger isn't?
It's not that he isn't, it's just he prefers a handshake. He's a little more reserved.
Yeah. So he'll rush over just like a golden retriever would, tail wagging back and forth, violently kicking up snow on either side of him in his wake. And he just grabs you and picks you up in a big old bear hug.
Barnabas, good to see you.
Dodger, 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 you came back. You came back. It's been so long.
Aye. It has been longer than I wanted, my friend.
It's been real long. It's been real long. Where you been? Where'd you go?
I'm just returning from the forest out west. It's not good.
Not good. Not good. What
No.
does it mean, not good? How can it not be good? It's trees.
The trees. The forest
good.
isn't doing well.
No.
Even before the winter set in.
Why? What happened? What did you do?
Well, first off, how dare you? I was just traveling for a...
Yep.
But no, I still managed to pick up a few things. I've been glad to get here. Civilization at last. Do you want to... Dodger has a couple things in his hand. I was walking over to the shrine.
Oh, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Which one of the shrines? Which one of the shrines do you want to go to? You want to go to
it was the one near the captain, where the captain was at.
Okay.
There was an old shrine there, I think he said.
Yep. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's a good shrine. That's a good shrine. I like that shrine.
So,
which is your favorite? This is my favorite. And he goes over to a different shrine. And you see him start to dust off the snow. And he kind of circles it, making sure that it's clean.
His favorite shrine. It's an old god that... So let's say it's not a real grounded like an animal. It's not real grounded like a normal animal. It's a more ephemeral, more like a fairy type. Maybe like a firefly, but more humanoid sort of thing.
Sure. What does his favorite shrine look like?
Barnabas?
Yep.
What did he say it was? I'm sorry, I was trying to describe mine.
What does his look like?
His is... Oh, I know what his is.
Mm-hmm.
His is a... it's essentially... it's one of the smaller shrines, but it's an ent, essentially. It has it's just a very detailed tree, lots of branches, a lot of cauliflower looking plumage, and that's his favorite. Obviously, he's a dog and likes sticks, and the tree works for that. So
100%. But you see him Like the moment that you start to do your reverence, he'll quiet down and just kind of like find a moment. And it's not weird to you anymore, but definitely some passerbys who aren't used to Barnabas or Kelleran's point at that, we'll see him kind of circle 3 times in front of it before he kind of like sits down cross-legged, and just kind of puts his hands on his knees and bows his head.
Dodger's going to, he takes one of the items he has with him. It's a small bundle of different plants from from other places that he's passed through on the way here. Like maybe there's some herbs or some small flowers from the forest. Just a small dried bundle of that stuff, and he leaves it on the shrine, and then he'll sit cross-legged down next to Barnabas.
Is this a god that Dodger regularly pays tribute to?
Yeah, he tries to. They're old gods, and in a lot of cases forgotten for a very good reason. Not a bad reason, but they were intentionally forgotten to make room for newer things. So not all places have these shrines, but he does.
Okay.
He does try to when he's able.
What is in Dodger's mind? What is a sign that your offering has been accepted?
His chest will feel a little lighter.
Okay.
Like an easing of a burden, almost.
As you sit down with Barnabas, do you feel lighter?
Yes. Yes. He has a little smile.
Good. Where do we find Celine? As everybody's kind of scampered off in their directions.
She usually just waits at the start of, a town or something after she's delivered people, seeing if there's anyone that needs to leave. She'll give it about half an hour before she actually goes into a town, because she's never there for long.
Where are you going?
And she'll watch you. Where am I going?
Yeah, what's got your attention?
Actually, she's watching everyone meet up with their friends, and Celine's an observer. She watches everyone.
Like the tide ebbing and flowing, it seems like everybody's gonna end up at the Beak's Inn. And through the window, what is Miss Maud's reaction to this new influx of people?
Happy that their people are coming in, and probably happy that she can provide something to warm them up or send them off to bed with a good meal or tell them a story or listen to a story. It's more about the communication. It's more about the community.
Tell us about the Beak's Inn, since you would be the most intimate with it. What does it look like outside an inn?
It's built from the same rock that the tower is, or the lighthouse. And it's it used to be part of the actual lighthouse itself. But as a lighthouse throughout the years, the employees became smaller and smaller. They didn't need as much room anymore. And Maud, in her effervescence, decided that this is where she's going to stay. This is what she's going to pick up. This is where, actually, Celine and her mother parted ways with Maud, because Maud used to walk with them. And so here, she said this is where she's staying. She has it looks small, but as always, everything is bigger on the inside. So when you walk in, there's a large hearth all the way at the end. there are rows and rows, and there's small tables on the side, depending on if you want to sit with people or if you want to sit alone. There's a stairway that goes up to the second floor where rooms are kept clean and ready for anyone at a moment's notice. But it's the back, the kitchen, where she has several stoves. She has several places to cook. She has a hearty and always full pantry, and her children are running around all the time, driving her insane.
What does it smell like
From
in there?
Oh gosh,
Especially right now.
Thanksgiving dinner. I say that is, most humans understand that smell. It's always that, it's that rich meat, freshly roasted, the potatoes done to completion with extra butter, the corn and beans, fresh bread, whatever bread you like. Then always either mead or ale or cider, or maybe you wanted water or a tea. Everything is always ready. I'm hungry now.
What does it sound like when Celine finally comes in? I think she's she's the last one to really come in.
Yeah. She'll quietly just look in, and there's a motley of children from almost adulthood down to the wee ones, where they are playing unceremoniously whatever happy tunes that they can think of, bar songs, and we're talking the clean bar songs that just keep everyone in a happy, jolly mood while they eat.
Sal, is Captain Bert playing an instrument?
Well, you see, Captain Bert's a big guy. I mean, and yeah, we're all sorts of different kith around, of different varying types and stock. But Captain Bert won't go through the doors of the Beaks Inn. He's got to go around through the back, and there's a nice area that's set up kind of like say a stable or a patio, but with a wall that's open to the inside of the inn. And they've got to keep the the hearth blasting on the other side of it just to keep the snow out. And he's got a nice big blanket, covering him so to keep that all in. But in that way, he won't be really playing much of anything.
Okay.
Now, when we're making our way towards the Beaks Inn, there is something of note that we get to see, which is just, in all this, man, it's kind of icy and bleak, and even though it's so welcoming, it's just, gloom. Winter's here. But once Maud sees that it's the time, the fire's been lit and people are coming into the inn and traffic's gonna go up just now, the stoves go on full burners. And out of the chimney, you get this extra big puff of smoke to start a new, volume of smoke coming out of the building. And the wind just carries it in a way. You get just such a picturesque little spiral going off towards the tower, and almost make it seem like the fire's lit up in that tower, like it should be. Captain Bert's waiting for us to tell him some sorts of stories.
Yeah.
He knows we're the new travelers, and maybe he's getting some a little bit from whoever else was with us, because that caravan had another dozen people with it. That's why Miss Maud's so busy. But I think first he might be getting some food.
Yeah, I picture him with his elbows on the counter, his fist just up under the flap of his skin, just listening intently to somebody tell him a story, which he was going to butcher the details of when he retells it.
He has an earnest love for them. He just doesn't have any kind of capacity to recreate them.
Yeah,
it's a sad thing.
what is Valo eating?
What is Valo eating?
Yeah, and what was in the mug that Molly gave you?
Well, what was in the mug was mushrooms, potatoes. Essentially, it was a stew, but it's made in a way. It's made in a way with the viscosity of it is made so that it feels like you don't need a spoon with it. It's not watery, but it's made to actually sip and chew every so often. You would call that's pretty much a basement stew. At the end of the night, normally you would do that with anything that was left over from the night before. You would put that all into a stew and just let it go on, simmer throughout the whole entire day, overnight. That's essentially what it ends up becoming. But I get a spark before walking in to the tavern. Thistledown actually gets a spark based off of the description that Sal gave. The torches. No one's going to bring the torches into the tavern. But what I end up doing is taking my time is actually positioning torches in a safe distance outside and around the tavern itself, and actually set up around Captain Bird himself. So even though he's not inside, it still feels like he has, light surrounding him. And considering that it is cold, there is icicles, I imagine, there, which the bigger ones that you see that are connected to the actual tavern, almost as though it's reflecting like glass, the amount of light that pours around it. And because the fact that the light dances on those and through the actual icicles, the actual stalactites, if you will, or stalagmites, it feels like they're dancing. Which I use that as a homage to Sunflower. Hopefully Valo sees that before going in.
Yeah.
Valo, I mean, I remember he would eat a lot heartier, food like I would. Mm-hmm. But this time around, it's almost as though he's trying to ration out food. He's just picking. He's just mostly bread with that overnight stew, or maybe onion soup, something that of that nature. It's literally just dabbing and just eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not his usual.
Yeah, you can tell that that there's a difference. In the way it's not as though he's not cheery. Especially around the younger kith, but considering the recent events that he's gone through, it is a moment that he is still dealing with, obviously.
Yeah. Dodger, as you and Barnabas walk in, one of the adult owls has little finger cymbals, and they pick up an accordion and offer it to Barnabas. Who's the owl, and does Barnabas play?
He does. The owl, because I'm an uncreative person, her name's going to be Millie.
Okay.
Yet another of their Miss Maud's progeny.
Yeah, Millie and Molly. Is Millie Molly's mom?
Let's see.
Let's
do that.
The convention? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
But yeah, Barnabas begins. He joins in. Oh, the group's doing something. Let's go.
Yeah. Do you play an instrument?
I do not, but I'm willing to at least kind of dance my way through the crowd,
Okay.
or at least step my way through the crowd, if whatever's happening.
Does Dodger know Miss Maud?
He does.
Okay.
He does. Yeah, he knows her because he this isn't obviously he knows Barnabas. This isn't his first time through Kelleran's Point.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that as a stopping ground for other merchants and peddlers and ships. She doesn't get to see those places, but she enjoys getting small trinkets from those places. So as his Dodger dances or step dances his way through the crowd towards Miss Maud, he is going to pull out. It's from the woods he was describing to Barnabas. There was a fire in one section of the forest, and he was able to carve something, an owl actually, out of a piece of burnt wood. So it's not destroyed or anything, but it's gray wood. It's a little darker in some places, lighter in some places, but it's a decent figurine, and he going to give it to her because she likes to get those things from other places.
She knows that you're not a hugger, but she will side hug you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. And she goes, "This is very lovely, and I know exactly where to put it." And she'll go over above the hearth, and there's a little bookshelf of trinkets, like you said, she collects. And she moves two of them aside to put yours in between them. Describe the two of them as she's moved aside.
Let's see. The other one is good. One of the others is going to be it's actually going to be a turtle from one of his coastal trips.
Yep.
It's well, it kind of looks like a turtle. He did his best. It was a piece of jade that he tried to carve and maybe use a little chisel on, but it was the thought that counted.
Mm-hmm.
So for that one, and the other one, let's see. Let's say a bear. It's a small carved bear.
Okay.
Maybe a little bigger than the owl, but small carved bear, brown bear. Because brown bears are better than black bears. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
So, yes, she moves two other animals aside.
Okay. As the night wears on and the music plays itself out, it's down to the four of you: Millie, Miss Maud, and Valo. And Miss Maud comes over, and she has a mug of something steaming that she places in front of Sal. What is it?
Oh, it smells like home. Coffee? How'd you know? How'd you have it ready? Usually can't find this kind here.
I've been stockpiling just in case you come back.
It's a very small cup, very potent coffee. I wouldn't recommend it to any of you. It's fine, especially at this hour, but how we do it. Take my coffee. Oh, Maud. Oh, Miss Maud. Little drops of heaven.
I wanted it to soften the blow that I'm about to deliver. Because I think, Sal, I think someone from your home made their way here. He's hurt. He's in the basement. I've separated him from the rest of the people. And she'll look at Millie and She nods and goes behind the bar and grabs this like bundle, and she comes over, and the moment there's a care to her putting it down, but the moment the bundle touches the table, there's a heavy thud of something either wooden or metal. And Melly steps away, and Ma just kind of nods at her, and she goes and disappears into the house part of the inn. And Miss Maud, very reverent, very careful, opens the bundle, and you will recognize this as what the people around your home call a thunderbringer. It's a blunderbuss. What does it look like to you? What does it invoke when you see it? What does it invoke in everyone, honestly?
For me, it's something I just want to put out of my mind. I look at it and I recognize what it is and immediately don't want to have anything more to do with it. I get the quick look when it's revealed and then, sort of push it away.
Yeah.
These things are dangerous, Miss Maud.
Celine, what does this invoke in you?
Another weapon that caused more people to leave their home, or what would have been their home. It's something that should be no longer around. She just kind of moves back, keeping her firelight close at hand. She doesn't want to touch it.
This one down, what does this make you feel?
Immediately brings me back to the last time I saw my parents. At least together. Last time I saw them together. Before my mother passed, this was the last thing, because they actually had that decommissioned, looks much older, but still has the similar flair to it on the actual top of the frame of the front door.
Mm-hmm. Dodger, what does this make you feel?
It's just there's some sadness. The temporary suspension of burden he felt from visiting the shrine and making an offering is mitigated by seeing this sort of weapons is why the rebellion failed. It's progress, and it's just unfettered progress to him, and that gets him down a little bit.
She sees your reactions, and she bundles it back up.
I put my hand on her wing as she does. Let me take one more quick look.
Please. It's yours to have. I don't know what to do with the person in the basement. Would you talk to him? To them?
I inspect it, looking to see if from it I can tell what faction they would have been from. And I can see it does have some sort of symbols on it, but nothing that I can recognize.
It has a craftsman's mark at the base of the handle. What does it look like?
A little palm tree that turns into a squiggle with a square around it. I'm sure it's meant to be a letter of someone's name, maybe the start of their surname or the workhouse they've been in, but it's been so long since I've been home that I just don't recognize it.
Mhm.
Who knows, who's fighting and how anymore.
But she steps up and she walks over to the door to the basement. This way.
Yeah, I'll follow down.
Do the rest of you follow down?
I'll go.
Yes, if you'd
I
like,
have
please.
a question. I wanted to know what was Valo's reaction to seeing that.
If a lynx could go stark white, that's his reaction.
I'll stay behind.
The life drained out of him.
Yeah. I'll hang back.
Nope. Celine?
She would think this is more of a private moment for Sal. She wouldn't want to impose upon it at all.
So Sal and Dodger follow Miss Maud downstairs. And in the basement, there's a salamander. What is it? Who is it? And why is their fate intertwined with Sal's?
Sal says, "You look familiar." And I think from his colorations that I might know his family. They were fishermen, though farmers, I guess, because they'd harvest kelp.
Mm.
Yeah, if a fish got around in there, then that's just bonus. And it's just even more shocking that he would have had arms on him, that he's in the state that he's in, because they never got involved in fighting as far as Sal knew.
What does his uniform look like? Tattered as it is, worn and weathered.
It takes me aback a little bit and makes me feel at my own undershirt that's torn in a similar way. It's got the same signature pockets all over that our people just love for whatever reason that nobody can quite explain. And just like mine, some of the pockets are torn down. And the stitching and style just look from another place, even though I can tell absolutely that it's from home. Are you part of the Palm clan?
His eyes narrow. Not anymore.
I'm a friend. I haven't been home in a long time. I knew Francine Palm? Had your same kinds of patterns? From the East Riverside?
My mother's sister.
She well?
None of them are.
Can we help? Miss Maud seems to have put you up, but she's worried about this.
He motions to the basement. Put me up. Sure.
I mean, would you rather be outside? Rather go home?
There is no home. You should know that.
Oh, no. I mean, it's going through rough times now, but we can. The city's still there, and someday we'll all get to go back and find our homes again and reclaim our lands and the ways.
You don't know about the fires. You've been gone a long time. What's your name?
Salto. And you?
What is his name?
I'm gonna say he refuses to identify himself. His name. No, I got I got nothing. But also the way that he seems like he would just want to be on the receiving side of information.
Mhm.
He'll ask me and then not reciprocate in a very pointed way.
Yeah.
What brought you here?
War. The exuberance. The abundance. The death. The loss. So many losses.
Well, are you warm enough?
Yes.
Can I spend a token in order to ease someone's pain, if only for a moment?
You could. You could, in fact, use a token.
And, I'm going to make motions as though I'm going to, just leave him be. And then sit down with my drum and start just, almost ignoring that he's there in that kind of way that you might sit down next to the grumpy person who doesn't want company.
Yeah.
And slowly at first, but then with a little bit more pickup to it, tap out a song from home. And that is something that I can always do, is play a tune from home.
As you begin, Miss Maud will gently tap Dodger in motion for the stairs. And as you're left alone, at first, this salamander just kind of sulks and sighs. And then, as you start to pick up, his eyes close. And he does look like he starts to remember. There's a hint, like a crack in the ice of a smile. And then it's gone.
Home might not exist anymore, but our songs, our ways, our people can't end that.
Maybe.
And I'll just keep him company for some time.
Well, this is going on upstairs. Millie comes back, and you can see that she's pouring some milk into a little pot. And she stops as she's coming back from the kitchen. And she looks at the two of you, at the three of you, with the bundle still on the table. I don't know why we took him in. The moment we saw that, we should have turned him away. We don't need that here.
Do you think she would have refused? He needs help. She's not going to turn anyone away?
He needs to go somewhere else.
Where would you send him?
Not here.
Again, where would you send him?
Anywhere but here. I don't want Molly growing up with that.
Maybe it's his first step into a different world.
Maybe it's more of the misfortune that's come in Sunflower past. And she'll give a very sad look to Valo.
But in Sunflower's passing, Valo still has purpose. You still all have purpose here.
Thistledown will actually grab the bundle still, and
it's heavy,
just as it should be, and just walk it out and actually place it outside. This does not need to be here, and actually dig it into the snow for right now.
As you are moving the bundle around and the metal and wood are clacking against each other, what visions does that put in Thistledown's mind?
It's a lot of laughter coming from three different people, all familiar, one including myself. And then just as quickly, silence. All I see is a journal, same one that I carry. And the last thing that comes to me, which gives me the idea, is actually digging. Is my father digging a hole in the back to toss the similar item, similar blunderbuss, into the ground. Yeah, it kind of, it's almost like it's almost like it's almost as though it's muscle memory, but not my memory, if that makes sense. And I'll just be walking back in.
There's a moment where you catch your reflection on the window between the bonfire and the flickering light from inside. You're not sure if it's just the memories that are washing up or if it's the truth of the moment, but describe what Thistledown's father looked like as you see that in your reflection.
I mean, he was a barrel He was a rook's head with a barrel body. He very intimidating stature. However, very gentle. Gentle giant is the simple way that I would put it. I think my views as far as the way that I generally like my mannerisms and sense come from him, but artistry was not his forte. He didn't even like words that rhymed. So that came from my mother. Yeah. It's essentially like opposites attract, because I can see, because there are several instances of his mother, which Gwyneth, and most of those moments are all with the eyes lit up, inspiration, joy. But with my father Thrum, it's always the same stoic look. Essentially, it's just Batman's face, Monday, Tuesday, happy, sad, angry. That is him to a T.
How does it make you feel to see that reflection?
It reminds me that pain like this only feels this way because of the amount of joy that that was a part of it. You wouldn't feel this amount of emotion if it didn't come from a place of joy and love, and that's why it hurts when it's no longer around. And that's actually something that a very poignant thought that comes to Thistledown's mind. So he actually takes the time to walk quicker back inside. The token that we have, I know that it's one thing I wanted to ask, does the token allow me to describe something in the scene that unfolds, or is that too much?
You you can spend a token to reveal something hidden about the person in front of you and then ask him what it is. So you can turn that into revealing something about Kelleran's point and ask about it. Tokens are usually used for helping other people, but we can use it on a place.
Yeah. I want to ask. I forget the owner of the tavern.
Miss Maud.
Miss Maud. Miss Maud. If I remember correctly, there's grapes that still grow in the back of this tavern. Is that right?
She just finishes closing the door as her and Dodger come up and you walk back in. Dodger, you actually have a second token. I forgot to give you one when you made an offering.
Oh, great.
But she looks at you. They're not in season. I have some that I've preserved in a jar, but we have a trellis.
The ones that you have preserved, do you mind if I could have, and I start going through my feathers and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need roughly about this much.
She motions to Millie, and you can see that she's still not flustered, but definitely heated about the situation with the guest downstairs. but she goes behind the counter and you hear some jars moving, and she comes back over with a jar of what looks to be jam, not jam, but like grapes on the verge of becoming jam.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna assume that there's some type of mortar and pestle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm grabbing that, and into my briefcase, I am literally just pushing papers through, and in between, like, sheets of paper that I've written, I can see flat pieces of what look to be bread, almost like pancakes. And I start grabbing those and actually place it onto a plate. Grab some honey that's left in that I would like morsels of honey along with the jam, along with the grapes, and actually start grinding it into into the mortar and pestle.
Yep.
And as I'm doing that, I'm wanting to I address Valo. I go, I tell to Valo that um you know I can only imagine the pain that you feel losing Sunflower. What I can only say is that it wasn't that Sunflower shined for you. It was more like you lit a fire for each other. And I would only hope that in this situation, no matter how dreary or gloom it feels. And as I'm doing that, I'm literally like pouring it out so it becomes more of a syrup. And I actually grab those two little flat pieces of bread, pancake like bread, and I start pouring this for him. I go, but I don't think Sunflower would want you to diminish the light that you still have inside you. And if nothing else, at least her favorite food would help lighten your spirits a little bit. And hold a sec, I have this written here. Give me good to it. So let it flow. Let laughter burble. A syrup glows. And then I peer over us out in shades of purple.
I'll say Sal is downstairs still.
God, never mind.
Yeah. What is
Circle.
I've made my way back up by now.
what is Poppy's reaction to this fake jam sandwich?
Gosh. Curious. Poppy isn't really interested in grape, but it looks interesting in and of itself. The smells are awkward.
Oh, forgive me. It was actually for Valo.
I know, but you made a point to bring up Sunflower,
that's right.
so I wanted to see what Poppy thought of this.
My fault. I will now back up.
Yeah, that's okay.
Poppy does quietly glow because it's what Poppy does. And will turn actually and fly around Thistledown's head as well as Valo's. And even turn around to gently sit on Valo's head for a moment. Kind of giving him like that glow that he used to have. And he'll give him a small little nuzzle on the cheek like, hey, we all still know, we all still remember. But it will kind of go down to this plate of it doesn't understand because normally Poppy just eats, what's in the forest, what is on the trail as we're going. Nothing really sat down and made. And kind of just pokes at it. Just tries to understand what Thistledown is thinking at the same time and going, do you even know us fireflies?
As I see that, I reach into the pocket of the little bits of nuts and pieces of small leftover morsels. And I'm like, little light. And I literally put a bundle like that, like a little pile next to the pancakes. I go, I know this is not for you, but I think this is.
Oh, he'll dive right into that because that's his food.
As Sal joins the conversation, Millie finally snaps and she looks at her mother and says, Ask them. Ask them like I asked you. And you can see Miss Maud is trying to be civil and holds out her hand to her daughter. And then she comes over to the table. Take him with you when you leave. And she points at the basement. We don't need that danger in this town. We've been suffering enough. The coast is drying up. The lighthouse is pointless. We need a fresh start. We need something good to happen for once. And it can start with that.
Valo is at the table with us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Valo, maybe you or Celine, are either of you familiar with the properties of salamanders? Their special abilities?
Yes. Very much so.
Because he might be perfect to help out with the lighthouse fire, since he can so easily go in and not be harmed by flames.
Mm.
If he just had his strength up a bit, and his spirits up a bit, he could really help the town out.
Storyteller, sorry.
Sure.
Dodger, something he can always do is know someone who can help.
Mm-hmm.
Who can help Valo?
The salamander can help with the restoring the flames, but help in what sense?
Well, Dodger also has a special passenger on his beetle. Someone that might be able to assist him in finding a new firefly. And if he would know that that entity can help, then he would bring it up. And I'll get it in touch.
Okay. Yes. The entity could definitely help Valo if it's in the mood.
Okay. Valo, if you're up for it, there's someone I would like you to meet. Might be able to help with your missing partner. I can't guarantee anything, but it's worth a shot.
He said that we cannot go and make a partner. It must be freely given by the gods.
But what if he is freely from the gods? You just have to meet him.
I'll lead the way then.
Celine will go up and go downstairs because apparently nobody else is leading. Because I don't know who this man is, but
I'm going
why the
outside.
fuck not?
I'm going to my beetle outside.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Valor will
I'm
follow
gonna try
you.
to comfort Millie and Maud just a little bit more. Negotiate to, maybe a day or two more. I've left our friend with, Claudio. I've left him with a book of poetry from our homeland, and I think that might, a few days, please. And then proceed to, if they're calmed down, join the rest outside. Because I'm very curious about this.
Mhm.
Yeah, Celine goes downstairs to actually talk to the man, but I'll let you all do the outside thing.
Yeah. Thistledown will want to go outside for sure.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Dodger leads Vallow and Thistledown out to the stable where his beetle is. Even though his name's Bailey, because it's hilarious. And you see, it's most of the stuff is off. There's a saddle up front that is now on the ground. And the beetle has whatever beetles eat and water and all that stuff. And then there's as part of the things that are the goods that he has or that were taken off the back. There's the best way to describe it is it's a small house, almost like a birdhouse, but not that doesn't have a hole in the front. It looks like an actual small house, what's about the size of a birdhouse, and Dodger will go up and he'll knock on the front of it.
What would be the sensation of it receiving guests?
It doesn't necessarily like surprises, but it's traveled enough with me to know that I wouldn't do this just randomly or irrationally. I would only do it if I had a good reason. But in general, it's it's a small and forgotten god, so it doesn't want. It would like to stay small and forgotten, not known and destroyed.
Okay. It peeks out from behind the house itself. What does it look like?
It looks like the one that Dodger left the gift for earlier. It's almost like the closest thing I could describe it to is it's like a Tinkerbell almost, but it's more insect. It doesn't have human features. It has more of a, fly eyes, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it has like a normalish mouth.
Okay. You have summoned.
Hello, Zoe.
Many greetings.
I was hoping I could trouble you with a small request.
You have offered. I am listening.
My friend, I motioned back. I motioned to Vallow to come forward. Vallow, this is my good friend and companion, Zoe.
Valor holds up his hand. You have
My friend. Oh, sorry.
You have a friend.
Yes. And also, if you may remember Thistledown from earlier travels.
I do.
Good to see you again.
Fallow has lost his dear companion, Sunflower.
Hmm.
Is there any way we can help him find a new companion?
New companion. What is his companion entail?
His companion is a firefly.
Hmm.
He'd like the
Firelight.
one firelight. You may have seen my other friend Celine, like hers.
Hmm. Those companions are a gift.
Hmm.
Is your friend deserving?
He lost his recently, yet he did not despair. He remained in town. He lights the fire every night. But it pains him that he cannot light the fire at the top of the tower.
Hmm. I see. That is troublesome. And it looks up. And for a little bit, the bonfire light, the torches, they all mute. The glow seems to not dissipate, but soften. It becomes almost like a puddle at your feet from how pushed down it's become.
Mm.
And as the light is pushed down, the stars above Kelleran's Point burn beautifully in the purple-black vellum of the night sky. And there's a moment where you are inundated by the amount of pinpricks of light that you see above you. It's like grains of sand scattered across a page of construction paper. And your tiny god just kind of holds its appendage out towards the sky. And as this is going on, what is Celine doing with the salamander?
She is going down.
Mhm.
Poppy is excited. New person.
Mhm.
Starts to buzz around him. And she comes down with her light. She offers her hand to him and basically asks him, "Do you need a hand?"
He looks at you. With what?
Your next steps in life.
No.
Are you determined to stay here?
No.
Then where will you go?
What does it matter to an owl?
Glad you know what I am, not who I am. Matters to me as all. Make sure you're on your way properly. Make sure you find your way. Doesn't matter what you are or where you came from. It's where you are going and if you're on the right path.
You know what my path is.
I don't. You have to tell me so I know where to take you. Do you wish to stay here?
No.
Do you wish to go somewhere?
Yes.
Where?
Anywhere but here.
Do you wish to have a purpose, or do you wish to gently move on? What do you want?
You can't give me what I want.
I can't give anyone what they want unless they tell me.
You can't give me what I want.
What do you want?
Free from oppression. Free from the wars. Free from
You
the desires to make a difference. To take up
You have
arms.
She moves her wing right to his heart. You have that right now.
He backs off.
Oh, she doesn't actually try and touch him, but she kind of gestures to us.
No, he backs off.
You have that now.
No. No, I don't. You're
Oh,
the
do you think a home is this?
the frog you sent down is proof that there is no home for me.
The frog? I sent no frog down. He went on his own volition. Because he's a part of your home, your land.
He is not
Yes?
a part of my home.
Is he not from your land
It's not my home.
anymore?
Land and home are very different things.
Can you explain them to me? Because I know not. I don't understand. I've never had any of it. Home, she points to her chest. This is all I have. She gestures to her bag. This is home. I have no place. I continue to wander to do my duty. I am home.
Sounds sad to me.
Why?
You don't know the warmth of four walls. Family excited to see you at the end of the day.
I don't. And that's a big assumption, sir. Is not upstairs warm and having four walls? Is not Maud happy to see me?
Is this not four walls? And he points to the dark, kind of damp
It
basement.
is.
This is not a home. This is
But
not
that's
my
in your
home.
perception. Ah. There it is. You want your home. Not a home. Why are you angry?
He gets up. He paces away from you. Everyone always asks why, not how. How can I help you not be angry? How can I help you reclaim your home? How can I help you stop the injustices? Nobody cares about how, just the why.
Then how?
Find me an army. Find me men that will fight
For what?
for what's right.
For what you... Is it right for you? Or is it right for everyone?
Who gets to make that distinction?
I believe everyone gets to make that distinction in their own life. Especially with those that have weapons of war. That's when you believe, or those that have the power to believe, they are better than others. Because they have a weapon that makes them right, instead of concerned.
Might makes right.
It does not.
That's what I was taught.
Because... And where are you now?
Free. Far from
Is that
oppression.
right? Did your blunderbuss help you here?
Yes.
And where is it now?
Broken.
Why?
Shattered.
Much like you.
I know who I am.
Do you? You're in the middle of a basement. I've been asked to take you anywhere.
Good.
My question is, really? How do you want to go? And again, do you need a hand? Because I think you do. But I can't force you. And
I will
don't
go when
want
you
to.
are ready.
Are you sure?
I will go when you are ready. And he plops down where he is.
Very well then. I will let you know when I'm ready. And she'll go back upstairs and sit back down and wait for everyone to return.
Outside. What does it look like when a star is plucked from the heavens and given life as a firefly? What does it look like to thistledown?
A second, I just literally wrote a haiku. So I literally just wrote a haiku as we were here about this. Yeah. Essentially, this is just a thought. Seeing this, feeling, essentially, like you said, stars being plucked from. Because, interestingly enough, Thistledown did reference Sunflower as stars in the sky. Let me see. I wrote it as well, it's not really a haiku, but a second chance, a brand new spark. Stars turn lantern, lit within the dark. And I just whisper, I look at Valo, and I say, I just whisper a word, a name, Nova, as my suggestion for my suggestion for potentially his new companion. But yeah, this is it feels, even though it's not for me, it feels like it's for everyone. So this is, and then from there, I'm literally like, write this down, and I'm just like, as this is happening, it's just grabbing with his beak, like he gets dip onto the beak, and he's like, just literally going as this is happening.
What does this look like to Sal?
Yeah, we've all seen shooting stars on the road, and in winter you get even more kinds of lights and unexplained things in the skies. And it seems like they're all out to play now. And with the dimming of the torches, there's just swirls in the sky as it's ready to cough up a star into the ground for us. Yeah, I'm no poet. That's who you need to describe these things, man. It's something something else.
Roger, what does it look like to you?
At first, it's almost too bright, and he has to kind of shield his eyes for a second. But he believes in these things. So this isn't, for lack of a better descriptor, isn't unbelievable for him. He hasn't seen it in full display like this, but he still believes in these old and forgotten gods. And what he does instead is he takes a long pipe out of his coat and he taps in some tobacco at the end, lights it up. There's a faint. You smell the tobacco, like Sal and Thistledown. You both smell the tobacco, but there's almost a floral scent to it. Might be orchids, might not be. And he's very relaxed. This is not a culmination, but essentially a culmination of what he believes in. So he's happy, and he'll ask Zoe if she needs anything.
The light of a star cascades down as others shoot across the sky. But not like shooting stars, because these hook around and they'll do an elliptical kind of dance. One's circling counterclockwise, a couple are circling clockwise, and one is just zigzagging between the points. But the one that's coming down, the one that's descending gently on the group, almost glows with a deep orange color. And there's this little grub of a lightning bug emerges from the light. It looks up at Valo and the rest of you. And as the light of the star fades into nothing, and the cracked eggshell of what it was for this new being that's come into life, the little butt begins to glow. That same kind of deep orange color. And Valo holds his hands out, and as the bug comes down and kind of nestles itself in the cradle of his hands, he just smiles, and there's like a tear coming down his eyes. He is orange like a pumpkin, and the bug smiles, and its little butt kind of wiggles, and as it does, it starts to lose the orange coloring, and you see that yellow-white, pure light of a firelight. And it just unfurls its gossamer wings and starts to just kind of fly around Valo. And it'll zigzag around all of you, kind of weaving like a snake. And as it swings, as it kind of buzzes the tower of your little birdhouse, Zell's gone. And then Pumpkin just kind of lands on Valo's shoulder. We must go into the tower. We have work to do.
Thistledown grabs the snow off the floor and like literally slaps it on his face so you just don't see him crying. He's just like, oh.
He's so cold.
He's so cold. It's so cold.
Can't.
Oh, no.
Celine will come out at this.
100% though, Sal doesn't feel cold. There was something about that entire scene that just left us, warmed from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And not just emotionally, though, also.
Although it was pretty bright. It was pretty bright at one point.
Yeah, right? But yeah, Celine joins you as it is the four of you standing outside of the Beak's Inn.
So hopefully that's some good news for the town.
Yeah. That's one small miracle. Now, what is this about a friend in the basement, Sal?
Well, I think we've probably had enough miracles today.
I talked to him.
Oh?
Of course. It's my job.
And?
When I am ready to go, he will go with me. And he has much anger.
Yeah.
He wants the how we can help, not wanting to address the why. I will not
Sal-
take his weapon with us. That will stay here, or they can do as they will. That will not go with us.
Funny thing about snow, once it starts falling back in an area, you can't tell where I left it, actually.
Did you do something to your face? Why is it red?
No, it's nothing. It's that I got ink in my eye and I tried to use some ice and
Don't you lie to me. I know you too well.
Anyway, they just turn.
Your diffusion does not address the situation, sir.
I am suddenly very famished. Please, excuse me. And I just
What?
walk and I just start
What?
like marching almost back into the house. Just like
What has happened
the
to that
tavern.
sentimental old fool?
A miracle.
And as I'm walking back in, I look over. Little light, please don't be jealous. You're still my favorite. And I just as I'm still walking.
It
Yep.
will circle around you a little bit, and she'll just go, really? Really?
Pumpkin is better than Nova, I'll say that much.
Words, sir, such slander. I take it all as well now.
Better.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Better.
Yeah.
Well, everything comes with better.
Yeah.
Sal
We only
usually
yes.
tries to keep a very even keel, but he's moved to just jump over and hug Celine.
Okay.
I thought I might be able to help, but you seem to have so much more experience with it.
She'll try and hug him back. She's not much of a hugger.
Yeah, neither is Sal, but can't help but remember how you helped when he was in his own basement of pain and whatnot.
People change. People travel for different reasons. I've heard so many stories, and he is like many others. He has to find his own way, much like you did. The hate will eventually temper. The slowing up of who he is will come to pass, and he'll start to discover what he really wants. But he has to let go. And the problem is he's too confined into his physical home. He doesn't realize what home really is. It's where you are. It's who you're with. It's a moment that you spend with others. My home, she'll pick up her pouch. It's nothing more than this. But my family is those I turn around and meet and talk to. Who I enjoy my company with. And who enjoy mine. Why would I worry about anything else? Too much is worried about the permanent, when nothing we have is permanent.
There's a moment before the lighthouse fires up. The fireflies, shooting stars are still kind of dancing, and there's this aurora borealis of colors. What color does Thistledown see?
Purple. It is the mix of emotions that he's feeling. It is that deep blue coming from the night sky, along with the shrieking red of light that causes a purple hue to come across the lighthouse.
What color does Sal see?
Red. Not quite the red of the fire. Red of the blood of my people. How it yearns for the past. But all these other colors bring us into the future.
What color does Dodger see?
He sees it's almost an iridescent greenish purple. It's similar to the wings of his beetle. It symbolizes for him the open road in his home.
What color does Celine see?
It's light. It's all together, mixed in, showing people the way. Doesn't matter the color. It's brightening up from the dark.
There's a cone of light as Valo has reignited the lighthouse. It dances across the sky in circular pattern. And out beyond the dark, you can see the edge of the sea. It's still crawling, ebbing and flowing, crashing ever so tinily out in the distance. This is just another chill, another snow blanket for Kelleran's point. There'll be others. This is where we're going to call it for tonight. I want to thank all of you for participating in this as always. I hope you guys are having fun with this. It is so different than what I'm used to. And I hope that it doesn't feel ruddy or forced in any way. But as always, I want to give you guys a chance to plug whatever you're into. So, Junie, let's start with you. What are you up to? Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
I am on the internet. Why? Because it's easier to move around in. It's like I'm a VA or something. Nobody really understands why. You can find me on my channel, GDivinesh, where I crochet like this guy here, or the scarf I'm wearing. I crochet a whole bunch of crap because why not? It's better than strangling people. You can also find me on the Mixtaper Studio, where I turn around every Saturday and I do Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition as I storytell Chicago by Night or Chicago. Hidden City, because I can't remember words. And I'm also here doing many, many things, trying to gently break Will in one way or another in a storyteller mode. That's me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Donald, what are you up to? Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
And nowhere but here, really. And we'll have 2 more of these, and then maybe I'll get to be a werewolf again sometime soon.
Oh.
Can't wait to get the 5 of you back together again. And Tara, what are you up to work if people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
Well, I'm Saturday nights. I'm with Miss Judy up there in Chicago, doing Chicago stuff with Chicago Kindred. And then next Thursdays, I'll be here for the next 2 Thursdays, and then maybe later in the month you might see me in something that looks like Ancient Japan on this channel.
That's true. Little spoiler for those fans of ours that love L5R as much as we do. Kenny, what are you up to? Where can you be found on the internet if you want to be found?
If you want to find me on social media, it would be under Mr. Underscore with the underscore in between each word. If you wanted to see what me and some of my friends that I affectionately call Bears do, there's Critter or Die Bears Love Gaming. You can find us on TikTok through there. If not, I'm either a bird, a pirate, or a vampire in Ravnos Archon. Who knows? I might be something else. Other than that, again, shout out to my parents that for whatever reason, whether or not they know what's going on, they go ahead and attend and watch this.
I love them.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys. I hope you are okay. I know that it started off all sunshine and rainbows, and then it was just like, hey, here's some trauma. So I hope you guys are okay. For those in the audience, we do take mental health very seriously. So please, if you find yourselves needing help and you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube later. But just know that we do care about you and we care about your well-being. And if you feel like you need help, there are resources out there for you. If you're not in the United States or you don't do well with phone calls or text messages, please use findthehelpline.com to find the resources in the areas nearest you. It is a worldwide link, so there are resources all over the globe for you. So please, I know things are dark right now. We're only a week and a half into this administration, and it's already turned into a clusterfuck, but please know people are out there that want to help you. And if we can take just a couple of hours to help you disassociate and kind of pull yourself from the miasma of garbage that is the world right now, thank you for being here, and thank you for helping yourself in whatever shape that matters, that means to you, however that looks to you. So please, thank you for that. Thank you for being here. As always, you can find us here right now, Monday and Thursday, for our little mini series are leading us into our regular scheduled programming. Otherwise, you can find me on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, unfortunately for you, over at McStyber Studios, where I play a cavalcade of different characters that do not cause any problems for anyone ever in their life. And sometimes I'll show up on a Friday if they pull me into their Kansas City shenaniganery. But otherwise, thank you guys again, as always. Thank you to my cast for trusting me with this guide position as far as Wanderhome is concerned. And I can't wait to see where we go next time. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.